Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for the commencement exercises for the Maine West High School class of 2021. I am Dr. Eileen McMahon, Principal of Maine West. On behalf of the staff, administration, and Board of Education of District 207, welcome. Today we gather as a community to express our collective joy, our pride in this class, our gratitude for what they are finishing, and our hope and excitement for what they begin. Today is a great day in Des Plaines. Joining me today for the ceremony are Mr. Jin Lee, Board of Education member, Ms. Sheila Yusuf Abramson, Board of Education member, Assistant Principals for Student Support, Mr. Brian Pakowitz, Ms. Christina Ramirez, and Mr. Rich Wolf, who will be reading graduates' names. In addition, I'd like to recognize other people who play crucial roles in today's ceremony. Dr. Claudia Rueda Alvarez, Associate Principal for Student and Family Services, Mr. John Aldworth, Associate Principal for Student Experiences, Ms. Roxanne Fiocco, Administrative Assistant to the Principal, Mr. Bernie Gersmeyer, Band Director, Broadcasting Teacher Ms. Rebecca Orr, Director of Facilities Mr. John Gutka, members of the Student and Family Services Department, and our building and grounds and security staff who have made this event possible. Next, it is my pleasure to recognize our graduating staff members who retire this year, Mr. Pat Barnett, Mr. Brian Kay, and Mr. Bill Theme. We also thank retirees Lee Davis, Ignacio Cruz, James Ford, and Deb Schluty for their service. Thank you for your many years of dedication to our students and school. We wish you well in the future. Please now stand as you are able and remove your hats for our national anthem, sung by Courtney Thames.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we've hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Early in the process of drafting these remarks, I wrote several words down on a Post-it note. These were words I vowed I would not use. Unprecedented was one. My 12-year-old promised that you would think it's really funny if I said something that was bussin', but I just don't trust her. Resilient is a great word, it really is, but every single high school principal in America will be using that word for this occasion, and you deserve more originality. Synchronous and its annoying twin asynchronous never meant anything to anyone before this year, and I would be happy to see them return to obscurity. Global pandemic is redundant. If you call it a pandemic instead of just an epidemic, you don't need to put global in front of it. And anyway, some other colorful words have certainly come up during the course of this year, but this is an occasion of dignity, so we're just going to move on. If forbidden words seems like a strange subject for a commencement speech, let me explain. Not only have these words been powerfully overused during an experience we have all found exhausting, I wanted to ban them from these proceedings also because I promised you in my heart that today of all days would not be about COVID. You were the class of 2021 long before COVID. You were Maine West Warriors long before COVID. You will be the class of 2021 long after COVID, and you will be Maine West Warriors forever. Today is about you, and COVID does not define you. You define you. Your beginning at Maine West High School coincided with a once-in-a-lifetime event, a solar eclipse called the Great American Eclipse on August 21, 2017. No solar eclipse had appeared for the entire nation to see since 1918, and none had ever received the hype that media, social and otherwise, would generate about it. Do you remember these? There was a big shortage of these. You began high school with a once-in-a-lifetime event. Now you end high school in a once-in-a-lifetime event. You were destined to be a once-in-a-lifetime class. Your beginning at Maine West was also my beginning at Maine West, as I began working here that year in the assistant principal's office. That year, I shadowed students to learn what Maine West Warriors were like. One was a member of the class of 2021. I've never forgotten what I learned from Mahogany and her friends that day, and from the rest of the Maine West Warriors all year. Here's some things I learned. Number one, high school is exhausting. Two, this school has an incredible sense of togetherness. Three, West assemblies are ridiculous. Do you remember the fire dancers? I still don't even really understand if that was legal. We honor our veterans at football games and at an assembly to commemorate their service in November. The fun starts well before school on home game Fridays when the drum line takes over the cafeteria. Warriors volunteer for just about anything and everything. The Des Plaines Youth Commission, Pack the Bus, Key Club, NHS, Red Ribbon Run, Mr. Pia's Turkey Trot. Warrior superfans are second to none. Even the IHSA said so when they gave us the Sportsmanship Award. These lessons stay with me because you have reinforced them over and over again with who you are. As juniors, you were the first Link Crew leaders. Also as juniors, you started SOAR, Students Organized Against Racism. And though we can't always talk about it in certain company, you legit won the spirit jug. As seniors, you made your mark. You started the Warrior Garden. You paraded to cheer residents in assisted living facilities. You walked the red carpet and watched the sunset together. You defined new traditions. You found a way. I carry one more memory from your early years with me, from the summer right after our freshman year. We were about to welcome 2 interim principals, and we were no longer representing ourselves as warriors with a mascot. It's funny to think that at that time, that seemed like a really big summer. Amidst these changes, 2 members of your class, Cam and Samaje, stopped in the main office and asked me, "What's the warrior going to look like now?" "Like you," I said. "The warrior's going to look like you. You're going to show people what the warrior looks like every time you show up and do your best, every time you cheer on a classmate, every time you lend a hand, ask a good question, solve a problem. Every time you volunteer, say thank you, tell the truth, offer to help, draw someone in. Every time you do those things, you show people what a warrior looks like." At the end of your 4 years, after looking to you over and over again to learn, I know what the warrior looks like with crystal clarity. It may be tempting to let the specter of COVID overshadow those early years of your time at Maine West, but I fervently hope that you won't. Change walked with you during your 4 years here because it always does. But you deserve to hang on to memories of people more than events, identities more than calamities, the things you cherished more than the things that changed. Changes command our attention at first because they're dynamic, but ultimately what happens is so much less important than who you are, so much less important than how you respond. The word define shares a Latin root with the word that means to finish or to end. The 14 months we have lived together demand that we respectfully consider the losses we have sustained. Some of us have lost loved ones. Some have lost livelihood. Some have lost security and opportunity. Some have lost confidence. Our losses deserve to be acknowledged and grieved so we can heal, so we can console one another, so we can define this experience together as a community and thus finish it, rather than allowing it to define us, to have the final word on our years together. More commonly, the word define means to establish the character of something. While the last 14 months do not define the character of the class of 2021, throughout the last 14 months, the character of the class of 2021 has defined the Maine West Warriors. You are unforgettable not because of what you lost, and not even because of what you learned, but because of what you have taught us. Your character established a motto that will endure when you leave. Warriors find a way. You authored that motto by sidestepping obstacles, solving problems, seeking new experiences, and staying connected. Season canceled? Keep training. Play in a different season. Can't have a concert? Upload performances and broadcast them together virtually. Homecoming dance impossible because of restrictions? Plan an outdoor carnival instead. Homebound? Learn virtually. Back in school? Learn in masks. Miss seeing your friends in virtual classes? Lead a social media campaign to get kids to turn their cameras on. Big snowfall over the weekend? Come build snowmen and have hot chocolate on the front lawn. Need someone to pack a huge load of donations for the Center of Concern? Everywhere you look, members of the class of 2021 are up to their elbows in boxes. At the end of this year, we know so much more about what it means to be a Maine West Warrior. The class of 2021 defined that for us, and we will never forget. We will now hear from 3 students who have been selected to address their classmates. The first is Naba Fatima Sultan.
4 years, 35,040 hours, 2,001,024 minutes. Tick, tick, tick. Stepping into our grand entrance of our childhood envisioned fairy tale, Mr. Hassman's beaming smile, chanting, "Welcome to your first day of high school," and screaming, 2-1, 2-1, 2-2-2-2, 2-1. Our timer had already begun. Peering back at freshman year, a timid girl smiles back at me. She craves to be older and not seen as an immature preteen, someone who can't wait to get her driver's license and enter the gates of adulthood. She thinks those will be the better days. Our first half of high school was one of many firsts. Our first Gold Rush football game, first Hawaiian homecoming, first time performing the roller coaster, and first time getting screamed at by your mom while your dad's teaching you how to drive. You know that sickness that seniors get when they're ready to move on? Senioritis? It's highly contagious, you know. Many of us, myself included, were struck by it from early on. We wanted to be upperclassmen so badly that we forgot about the little moments. We took it all for granted. Then came along March 13th, 2020. We thought it was an extended spring break. We reasoned e-learning would be an interesting opportunity. I began quarantine with my sweet 16, and just like that, I'm an adult and was writing the speech 1 week from graduating, still trapped in that never-ending spring break. But what if quarantine was our essential epiphany, a time to realize the luxury of what we obtain? Memories of Mr. Aldworth's iconic assembly converse, a junior year spirit jug victory, our roaring fight song cheers, laughing in the pop shop, incredible adventures in our little PLT office. An awakening prior to life after high school in asserting us to stop and realize that these are the good old days. We are living in the good old days. Recognize this before our future self, 4 years from now, peers back and gasps, "Wow, I wish I valued that time more." I have a pit in my heart. Literally memories of running in our pit, which no other class will ever encounter. High school was our compass, guiding us to our destination, but it isn't our final. Maine West simply took us to a foreign land. We no longer have that GPS telling us where we need to go or what we need to do. Many of us will continue navigating into college, but for others, we will explore this new island of maturity. Coming to Maine West from River Trails with only 6 other peers, while the rest went off to another high school, I always dreamed of accomplishing high school alongside my childhood friends, but I would never choose another family to graduate with than you. I wish I could do it again, but I, for one, can't write another DBQ. The minute we throw our caps in the air, our timer will go back to 0, and we will restart. But we will restart with the blue and gold in our hearts. I want to go forward in cherishing every moment of life. I regret not appreciating the fruitfulness which surrounds me. I know we all have that special person or people who have inspired this chapter of our lives. I'm lucky enough to thank my support system in front of all of you. Thank you to my lovely family and friends for being a constant motivation. Thank you to my thoughtful teachers for dedicating your time towards our academics. Thank you to Dr. McMahon, who taught me to believe in myself working in the principal's leadership team, and aside from an honorable principal, someone who quickly became a best friend. Thank you to my sister for sharing a Starbucks diet these 4 years. Thank you to my brother for always mentoring me in my homework 5 minutes before midnight. Let's be honest, you deserve this diploma more than I do. Thank you to my uncle for exemplifying diligence. Thank you to my mom and dad who constantly inspire me to reach beyond the moon. And thank you, quarantine, for enabling this awakening. Currently, we all have a future self looking back upon us and wishing they'd realize that these are the good old days. Let's stop sobbing over the past or craving the future, and let's live life and romanticize every moment of it. This is a day we will never forget, as it marks the beginning to our foreign island and the end to our perfectly unique West Side story. In a totally non-biased way, I want to congratulate my favorite class in the history of classes, the class of 2021, on this special milestone. I know each one of you will do amazing things and will conquer the world. So I end by thanking you all for playing a wonderful role in our big story, and say, as Vice President Kamala Harris once said, "We did it. We did it, Joe. The class of 2021 graduated." Thank you.
Please now listen to the traditional performance of our Maine West alma mater, sung by Megan O'Brien.
Oh, hail to thee, Maine West, whose halls we will not forget, to cherish the memories, the hopes, and the friends we've met. Oh, sing of its praises and of the days we've spent building mind and might. Dear Maine alma mater, we stand strong forever. Here's to the blue, gold, and white.
Please welcome our second student speaker, Miguel Patino.
Good evening, everyone, administrators, faculty members, board members, and most of all, class of 2021. Now, I think it goes without saying that this year has been different, shall we put it. In fact, I don't think anyone in this room would disagree with me in saying that this year has come with a lot of challenges, and that's an understatement. From having to wear a mask all the livelong day, to not getting a normal prom or a normal homecoming, or not getting another powder puff victory, so we could solidify our status as the undefeated champions. If you can even remember that far back to those good times with the bonfire and the taco trucks. Or even when it comes to staying 6 feet apart from everyone else around you. Just like you're currently seated, even right now. And so, I want you to take a second to think in your head about how you're going to look back on this year in the future. About what words come to your mind to describe the events of this past year. Maybe miserable, terrible, awful, and even loathsome and abhorrent. If it's the last two, I like your word choice. But the point is, I don't think anyone could blame you for feeling any of those ways about this year. I certainly don't. But there is one more word that I think should have come to your mind if it didn't already. Proud. Let me repeat that one more time if you didn't hear me. Proud. You see, not only was the class of 2021 the class that put up with a once-in-a-century pandemic, we're the class that thrived through a once-in-a-century pandemic. And when the class of 2021 was handed a year of racial injustice, of anti-Asian violence, of hunger and of disease, they took it in stride and transformed it into a year of racial justice, of unity, of caring, and of health. Don't believe me? Let me walk you through the proof. Last year, when the class of 2021 witnessed racial injustice unfold before their very own eyes, playing over and over again, they didn't just move on and keep scrolling through the social media, through the Snapchat and Instagram on their phones. No. Instead, they took action. They got up, put their phones down, banded together, and marched on the corner at Oakton and Lee so that they could peacefully protest against that racial injustice. And it doesn't stop there. In March, they volunteered with Walgreens to vaccinate our own District 207 staff. And they've also helped fight the battle against COVID-19 misinformation by distributing accurate information. And all throughout this past year, even the staff of the class of 2021 have so much to be proud of. I'm of course talking about the folks who didn't even know what a Zoom was a year ago, but they didn't care. They learned anyway because their priority was the students, not how they taught the students. Online or hybrid, virtual or in person, it didn't matter to them. And their professors at their colleges and universities never taught them how to teach a little black square with a letter on it. And yet, as warriors, they found a way, and they stayed motivated because they knew there was a human being behind that screen that needed their help. And not only that, they realized that there might be more than met the eye. Because even when we talk about those warriors who wouldn't turn their cameras on, there was often a sacrifice being made there, even if you couldn't easily hear it. When they turned their microphones on, if you listen closely, you could hear the sound of babies crying, of little boys and little girls asking for food, because they were taking care of them while mommy and daddy were busy trying to find a new job or working. I'm also talking about all the folks who had to get a job with more hours so that they could pay the bills of a family member with COVID. Or most of all, someone who lost a family member to COVID. I think you get the point. We've not only accomplished a great deal as a class, but we've also sacrificed a great deal as a class. But there's one more big reason why I think we should be proud for who we are. We ought to be proud for being the safe harbor. Now, what exactly do I mean by that, safe harbor? Let me give you my own story for an example. My family and I are originally from a small town, Pueblo, by the city of Celaya, in Guanajuato, a region in central Mexico. It's a beautiful town by the verdant mountainside where the roosters sing you awake in the morning, and where you can see all the stars as they dot the sky at night. Or, at least, it was all of that. Because that's not what it is to the narcos, the organized crime that operate there. Because of how they've all but replaced the local government. It feels like it's every day that you hear about another church that was burned to the ground with nothing but ashes left. Or about another old family friend that got disappeared. And so, I want you to take a good and long look at me, standing before you. Here I am, a kid whose favorite subject is English, because he gets to write essays where he analyzes the use of language and literary devices in the poetry of Shakespeare and Emily Dickinson. Meanwhile, a lot of the kids over there, half my age, have already been recruited into one of those gangs at gunpoint. That is why it's such a privilege and an honor to be both a Maine West warrior and a part of the class of 2021. And now notice, I don't tell you that story to say, oh, woe is me. I tell it because I know it's the story of all the people in this room in some way or another. Whether it's the warrior who was the child of Vietnamese or Cuban refugees who fled the oppression of communism, or a warrior from Syria or other regions of the Middle East who fled the civil wars that destroyed their own homes. Even if it was your grandfather or your great-grandparents, all of us in this room have a story like that to tell. And so what bonds us all together is that we've all once faced adversity before. And we all landed here in this great community. We all landed here at Maine West, and this is our safe harbor. The only difference is that this year, although we've been forced to confront that adversity once more, we're all the more ready to vanquish it because of our safe harbor. And I can tell you that with full confidence, because I've seen it happen with my own eyes. Last year, in my own household, when we lost our jobs in my family, it was this school and this class and these community members who stepped up to raise the money for those of us that were hurting most. And when we were getting headaches and migraines because there wasn't anything to eat at home, it was this school and this staff that fed me and my family. And I know we weren't the only ones because there were plenty of us in those lines. Make no mistake, it was this community and this staff and this class that did all of those things and that chose to be a safe harbor. So in saying all of that, I've got one last request to make of you. Once you're all lawyers and environmentalists and football and soccer and basketball players, and when you're telling your grandchildren and your children about that one time you lived through a once-in-a-century pandemic, you can use all the words in the book to describe this past year. Miserable, terrible, awful, and even loathsome and abhorrent. But then you've got to promise me, no, guarantee me one more thing. They're going to look at those children and grandchildren and tell them, but you know what else? I'm darn proud of that here too, because I've got a lot to be proud of. Thank you.
Our third speaker this morning is Jenna Dalby. Please welcome Jenna to address the class.
Good afternoon, friends, family, Maine West faculty, and good afternoon, class of 2021. It's a great privilege to have the opportunity to speak to you today. It certainly has been an uphill climb to get here, but we're here nonetheless. Oftentimes, we view life as a perpetual climb up a mountain. At the top of the mountain sits our end goal, so all we have to do is climb it. Sounds easy, right? Little do we know that the journey to the top is not as easy as we initially expect. It's full of hills and valleys, gorges and plateaus. And the climb that we thought would be easy turns out to be a much greater and much more difficult journey. I think we can all agree that the journey to get to our graduation today has not been an easy one. With everything that happened from the end of our junior year till now, we've had our share of adversity. But I'm not standing here to recap the difficulties of the past year. I'm standing here today to capture the beauty that comes in the struggle and to remind you all that from struggle comes strength. The last 4 years have been a climb that has taught us about who we were and who we wanted to become. We entered as freshmen who couldn't figure out where D-Wing was, but we're leaving as seniors who are ready and excited to march out into the world. Over these past 4 years, we've grown in our ability to learn and reason, to understand and ask questions. We've improved the quality of our characters by learning how to listen, grow from the perspectives of others, and care for those around us. We've marched in protests. We've signed petitions. We've spoken out against injustice. Clearly, these experiences have helped shape us into the people we are today. We now stand on the verge of our futures, ready to step into the next stage of life. The struggles we faced have strengthened us and shown us how to persevere. It is with that resolve and that grit that we begin the next chapter. As we start down our own paths, we'll be faced with many choices and decisions to make. And while I can't tell you what decisions to make, let me give you a word of advice. Wherever you go, whatever profession you end up choosing, our society will tell you to do what is best for you. You'll be pushed to do whatever it takes to achieve your goals and prioritize what you want, to climb the mountain for yourself. But allow me to make a countercultural encouragement. Let the things you do and the energy you spend go toward the benefit of those around you. Because climbing the mountain with others is a much richer experience than climbing alone. The best part of our class is how unique each one of us is. We are each blessed with our own individual gifts and talents. Some of us have a talent for writing, others a talent for speech. Some have a talent for the arts, or a knack for the sciences, or the skill of athleticism. Some have a passion for craftsmanship, or a calling to serve their country. Regardless of what your talent is, you have a gift that is unique to you. It's up to you to decide how you use it. My hope is that you share your gifts and bless those around you. Give yourself away. The great poet Maya Angelou captured this idea when she said, "When we give cheerfully and accept gratefully, everyone is blessed." That is my hope for the class of 2021, that we would be the type of people who give our time and talent to enrich the lives of others, so that as we walk our different paths, we leave behind a trail of blessing. That we would stop looking out only for ourselves and recognize the impact we could have on the lives of others. I believe that this class, with its perseverance and strength, has the power to make an incredible impact. So today, class of 2021, remember the time you spent at Maine West, and remember the way it shaped you. Look around at the friends sitting here with you today, and remember the laughs, the tears, the hugs, and the high fives. Remember the things you've learned, and remember the teachers who worked tirelessly to make you a better learner and a better person. As you walk off this field as a Maine West graduate, know that you have gifts that can change the world. So climb the mountain. Climb despite the trials. Climb together and support each other along the way. Climb with strength, perseverance, and selflessness. Our journeys have just begun, and I cannot wait to see where they go. Congratulations, class of 2021.
At this time, I am honored to present the class of 2021. Our class of 524 seniors has set a powerful example for the warriors who follow them. They leave a legacy of not just achievement, but adaptability. Not only accomplishment, but service. Not solely individual success, but school spirit. They are unforgettable. 4 members of the class of 2021 have been named National Merit Commended Students: Lucy Ellsworth, Gerard Mendoza, Kyle Nowak, and Aileen O'Connor. 1 member of the class, Anna Kalena, has been named a National Merit Finalist and may yet be named a National Merit Scholar, which bestows a full scholarship to her university. 14 members of the class of 2021 have achieved the State of Illinois Seal of Biliteracy, with 1, Gabby Krieger, demonstrating biliteracy in both German and Polish. More seniors may earn this seal pending the results of recent AP exams. 44 members of the class of 2021 have been named Illinois State Scholars on the basis of their ACT scores in combination with their GPA. 2 Warrior graduates earned top awards at the Mock Trial State Tournament in March. Safura Salman was named Outstanding Attorney, and Miguel Patino was named Outstanding Witness. Juhi Soni and Bailey Saunders placed in the virtual DECA state competition and advanced to nationals. Genevieve Bello earned a gold medal and qualified for nationals in the FCCLA culinary competition, and that is the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. Ian Listopad was a regional champion for architectural drafting in Skills USA, a tech and design competition showcasing the work of career and tech education students across the country. Johnny Nguyen had a letter to the president published in a special inauguration issue of the Washington Post. Warrior seniors created beautiful art for virtual art shows, performed beautiful music virtually in Illinois Music Education Association festivals, recorded masterful stage productions to stream online, and produced virtual concerts for all performing ensembles. Alex Fleming, an all-conference diver, recorded the second highest score in school history across 11 dives. Softball player Abby Galinsky has pitched both a no-hitter and a perfect game in 2 different conference games in the CSL North. Jared Pearson was named Honorable Mention All-State by the Illinois State Basketball Coaches Association. 2 senior warriors, Ria Patel and Denise Roque, qualified for the IHSA State Tournament in badminton. Seniors led a cheerleading squad that took 4th in the CSL Co-Ed Championship. The senior class of girls basketball players have won conference, regional, and sectional championships in each year of their high school careers in which postseason play was held. In 4 years, these seniors have only lost 1 conference game, achieving a 39-1 record. Our seniors have been named to numerous honor societies, some denoted by the cords they wear as part of their graduation regalia. 86 in National Honor Society, 47 in Spanish National Honor Society, 77 in Pi Sigma Pi, the Social Sciences Honor Society, 50 in the National English Honor Society, 12 in the Science National Honor Society, 9 in the National Art Honor Society, and seniors are members in Mu Alpha Theta, the Mathematics Society. 30 are thespians, 28 are in Tri-M Music Honor Society. In publications, seniors in this class have led their staffs on The Westerner, The Legend, and Westwards to produce high-quality publications that chronicle student life and achievements at Maine West. In Key Club, seniors led the group through multiple pivots to persist in a remarkable number of service projects, including Feed My Starving Children, snack bags for Special Olympians, blankets of dreams, backpacks and school supplies packing for elementary students, bags of PPE for first responders, forest preserve cleanups, and reading books for cancer patients. Senior volunteers and interns at Speak Displays distributed nonpartisan voter information and assisted registration drives to increase civic participation in our local community. 48 senior Link Crew leaders devoted time and creativity to foster a culture of belonging and support for incoming freshmen, some of whom still have not seen our campus. Student council and class council officers generated numerous ideas for safe and meaningful events to keep students connected and encouraged during all phases of this school year, including a senior week that brought members of this class together again one last time. Seniors Caring for Seniors, an event that featured a parade of 2021 graduates, toured the local assisted living and nursing facilities to show support for senior citizens in our community. In recognition of their camaraderie, their achievement, their love of our school, and their perseverance through notable challenges, Mr. Lee, Ms. Yusuf Abramson, it is with pride and joy that I present to you the Maine West High School Class of 2021. I certify that the graduating class of 2021 has met all the requirements as set forth by the State of Illinois and the Board of Education of District 207, and are hereby granted all the rights and privileges that correspond accordingly. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Board of Education member Mr. Jin Lee and Board of Education member Ms. Sheila Yusuf Abramson to accept the class.
Principal Dr. McMahon, members of the faculty, parents, and friends, and especially graduates of 2021. It is my honor to be here with you today and to bring greetings from the Maine Township High School District 207 Board of Education. On behalf of all of the Board of Education members, I would like to express my sincere congratulations to you all seniors. As we virtually gather today, I want to thank you all, seniors, teachers, families, and friends for pulling together. These last couple of unprecedented years to collectively ensure that our seniors still will be ready to present today for their graduation, as they all are right now in this very moment. You all have reflected the very best of Maine West and District 207 community, especially each and every one of your seniors. And while this is not the graduation you imagine, this is the moment that you absolutely have earned, and we could not be more proud of you. So seniors and students, please join with me first in recognizing all of the hard work and dedication that your families have provided, which has helped you to get to this day. Please also join me in recognizing the great teachers and staff of Maine West High School who have dedicated themselves to making today possible no matter what it took. Our school are, as always have been, about learning and learning environments we as a taxpayer strive to provide with the greatest quality education there is available. To that end, I believe that we have engaged the best possible facility and staff for your education, which truly was reflected in the way they quickly stepped up, and while also staying connected to their students this past semester. And finally, parents and staff, friends and the guests, please join me in saluting our seniors and letting them know how proud we are of them for the strength and resiliency that they have shown through this past semester, for graduating today and moving on to the next chapter of their lives with the dignity and optimism that they have shown, not just in the last couple of months, but during all 4 of their years at Maine West. Seniors, you are amazing, and we wish you all the best success in your future. Dr. McMahon, on behalf of the Maine Township High School, District 207, Board of Education, it is with the deepest honor that I accept this amazingly resilient and strong graduating class of 2021 and certify them as eligible for graduation. Once again, congratulations on your graduates, and may you prosper. Thank you.
At this time, we will begin conferring the diplomas. Mr. Pakowitz, Ms. Ramirez, Mr. Wolf, we are ready to present the diplomas.
Cristian Cisneros, Lobna Khaled Danka, Brian Diaz, Anthony Duran, Madeline Haddad, Michael Eduardo Perez, Jonathan Feeney, David Kucharski, Chloe Elizabeth Murillo, Samantha Leigh Poplowski, Alexander Ricardo Alvarez,
Daniel Anthony Cisneros, Alishai Anadale Maldonado, Eleni Theodoropoulos, Patricia Valverde Linson, Jose Bini, Naomi Maria Holdis, Nakash Pervez,
Anna Gonzalez, Kayla Lisa Gonzalez, Dimitar Dianov Govodarsky, Edward Guzman, Bryce Uy, Judith Ruvakalba, Tatiana Sliwa, Jesus Antonio Guzman Marcelo, Luis Gerardo Herrera, Dominic Patrick Lipinski, Leticia Ramirez.
Graduates, please remove your tassel from the right side of your cap to the left side now that your diploma has been presented. Maine West Warriors Class of 2021, you have now officially graduated. Wherever you are, whenever you may hear it, I hope you will always stand for our school song. When we reach the second Yay Ra, you throw your caps in the air, and everyone around watch for flying mortarboards. We will begin the recessional after the chaos. Please begin the recessional.